Detroit Den 313. What's up? It's your boy Will back with another episode. Actually, part two of a series that I'm doing that I'm dubbing Life After Aiden Hutchinson 2024 Super Bowl season. I'm speaking it into existence, baby. Let's go. Getting right into it. I think that if you missed part one, make sure that you backtrack and you go catch part one. Part one was talking about basically what we can do in-house to keep this train rolling, to keep this offense and defense a Super Bowl caliber team together, even though we've lost pretty much the heart and soul of our defense. So make sure, like I said, you tune into that part, because part two, we're getting outside of the house. We're looking out there, trying to find some guys that fit the mold of Detroit Lions, that fit the mold of someone that we would actually bring in house. Now, for me, I've seen a lot of the big splashy moves. Like I said before, I don't think that that's the route that we're necessarily going to go. I think it's going to be more of a calculated move. That's kind of how I feel like our GM moves. It's going to be a calculated move. It's going to be a guy that I believe can help us, that pushes the needle, but it's not going to be one of those top five guys. So before I tell you the guys that I have on my list, I got two guys that I haven't heard anybody talking about. But so make sure you tune in. Two guys, I haven't seen any other podcasters talking about these two guys. But before we talk about them, I want to kind of just lean into who our GM Brad Holmes is, because I feel like if you really think about who he is, it will kind of lead you in a direction of we're probably not gonna do anything super crazy. So when I think about our GM Brad Holmes, the first thing that I think about is he's a value guy. He likes to get guys undervalue, because like if you think about a situation like Jared Goff, Sean McVay was ready to throw Jared Goff in the draft, in the trash, right? But Brad Holmes saw him as a franchise Super Bowl caliber quarterback. So he got Jared Goff, a Super Bowl caliber quarterback, a guy who could lead a team to greatness. He led us last year to a half away from the Super Bowl. He got him and draft picks for a guy who was ready for a fresh start anyway. So he's ready to head out of town. So he got Jared Goff, and he got some extra draft equity to revamp this team, which he did very well. So he's a value guy. He likes to find value pieces, value moves out there. Next, I think he's a risk reward guy. Makes me think about JMO, man. He finds these guys that may be banged up. They may have an injury history. They may be injured in the current moment, and he'll go get them, and he'll let those guys get an opportunity to heal up. Uh, all the while trusting his team and his ability to evaluate talent and evaluate players and individuals. So you think about, there was a lot of dissension in Detroit about JMO. It was guys ready to trade him, ship him out, cut him, release him. It was all this stuff going on. Now, I don't think I know anybody that isn't happy that Waymo is on our team, baby. He's out there making plays, doing his thing. So he is a risk reward guy. Next, I'll say he's a patient guy. Think about CJ Gardner Johnson. If you know the story behind CJ Gardner Johnson, he was calling CJ Gardner Johnson's agent every single day. Hey, man, just checking in, seeing how negotiations are going, how things are moving. Just wanted you to know we're still interested. Let us know. And next thing you know, we got probably the hottest safety at the time on the market in with the Detroit Lions, which nobody saw coming. So due to his patience and his due diligence, he got a big time player in here at Detroit. Now, it didn't work out like we'd hope that it would work out. But nonetheless, it was a great move at the time made because of his patience and due diligence. Um, After that, he's a 1 year guy. He loves these 1 year deals. He loves these 1 year deals, whether it's a 1 year prove it deal because you got an injury history, i.e., Emmanuel Mosley, i.e., Marcus Davenport. When you get these guys into town, instead of signing them to a 2-3 year deal, you sign them to a 1 year deal. If they get banged up, you can just decide to part ways with them if you want to, or open up the floor to another 1 year deal and see if they can get it together. So he loves these 1 year deals. I gave two examples of it not really working out, but to the flip side, if you look at Kevin Zeitler, he's playing amazing football. So he's a guy who loves these 1 year deals. He loves this you know, kind of taking a chance on a guy, but you do it in a calculated way to where if things don't work out at the end of the season, that guy is off the books, right? So lastly, I'll say our GM is a loyal guy. He wants to sign the guys that are in-house, sign the guys that he drafted. If they take care of their end of the bargain, they come in here and they play like a dog, they play well, they produce, and they're productive, he's going to resign you. He's going to give you an extension. I mean, the list it's already steep. We're talking about Amon-Ra St. Brown. We're talking about Panay Sewell. We're talking about Aleem McNeil just got paid. We're talking about Jared Goff. He is a loyal GM. If you're taking care of business, he wants to keep you in the building. And now, don't let me forget about the one that I feel like, and I keep saying it. I'm gonna keep saying it. He is a top 2 running back, and he ain't number 2. Demo, baby. So if you're balling, he's going to pay you, right? He's going to keep you in house and he's going to let you know that we love you here in Detroit. So if you think about those things, who our GM is, what is he about? How does he move? Two guys that stick out to me that I could foresee ending up Detroit Lions would be, first things first, Philadelphia Eagle, Josh Sweat, right? Josh Sweat, 27 years old, so he's still got some juice left. He's on a 1 year deal right now, restructured deal for $10 million. 6 years experience, 6'5", 265. So kind of a similar bill to Aiden Hutchinson. Has 2 sacks on the season, 10 pressures. He's 28th in the league in pressures right now. But if you look at just last season, at one point, he was leading the league. I think it was November. He was leading the league in pressures, or tied for leading the league in pressures. This is a guy that can be a productive edge in the NFL. If he comes to Detroit, obviously he's not going to be Aiden Hutchinson, but he's definitely a guy who instantly makes that D line better. He makes that edge rush situation better. And he's a guy that's not going to break the bank. And we would have an opportunity, because he's on that 1 year restructured deal. He could be a bridge guy, or we could give him a look and decide whether or not we want to bring him back. So Josh Sweat is a guy that I'm looking at as a possibility, if for no other reason, his production and the Philadelphia Eagles' ability to be able to just replace him with a piece. They got dog after dog after dog out there on that defense and on that D line. They still got Brandon Graham out there, man. It's like they picked up Bryce Huff in the offseason, Jordan Davis, Jalen Carter. They would be able, and I'm not even sure that they're gonna pick up Josh Sweat at the end of the season. So if you get him off the books early and get a little bit of draft equity for him, hey, I definitely think that that's a possibility. Now, Number two, number two on my list is interesting, very interesting, maybe a little bit more risky, but I think it's kind of cool. The story behind it, that would be none other than New England Patriot. And not the New England Patriot that you're probably thinking about. Everybody's probably thinking about Judon. No, 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 no. Josh Uche, right? Hey, ex-teammate of Aiden Hutchinson. Another one. He's young. He's 26 years old. Ex-Michigan Wolverine, hail to the victors. 6'2", 255. Currently on a 1 year deal for $3 million. That's right, $3 million. Now there is an incentive based deal. It is incentive based to where he can get up to $8 million if we go into the incentives, but uh like I said, it's still when you're talking about some of these other guys, the Max Crosby's, the Miles Garrett, these guys are going to come in and want 20 mil, 25 mil, $30 million. Like, you can't have two defensive ends on your team that want max deals. And I guarantee when comes time for Aiden's going to want a max deal. He's going to want to get paid like one of the top edge rushers in the league. So you don't need another guy on these books, man, when you're going to have to pay all of these dogs that we have on this team. We have weapons everywhere. We don't need another crazy top 5 type player. We need a role player that does his job like a beast. He does his job like a master, right? That's what we need, in my opinion. So Uche has been on and off. He's dealt with a little bit of injuries, but he's also had 2 seasons to where he's had good production and he's been healthy. So if you go back to 2022, this is a guy that had 11 and a half sacks, right? This is a guy who can get after the quarterback, right? So you think about, we have that Michigan connection on both edges. He's fairly young. He's still only 26 years old. I think there's a lot of juice in that tank. He's explosive. He's got long arms. He's a guy that might even be able to uh, play a little bit of that Sam linebacker role. Like, he's athletic like that. So I think these are two pieces that would really fit the Detroit Lions. Again, both on 1-year deals. They could be bridge guys. Hey, you don't like them, they get us through the season, get a little bit of production and get rid of them. Or they could be an added addition to this team moving forward. Guys, put it in the comments. Let me know how you're feeling about the two guys that I dropped in the show, and I'll be back with another episode. Peace.